There's that old familiar school bell, and every great school has a great fight song, and I choose to use the University of Idaho's fight song. Say it with me. Say it loud. Say it proud. I-D-A-H-O. Idaho, Idaho. Go, go, go. That's right. You listen to an inspirational, exceptional, motivational episode of Conducting My Life. My name is Paul Everts. I'm your host. You can reach me by email address, and I wish you would. It's BAND, the number 2 together, band together at Comcast.net. Also, go to our handy-dandy website. You'll see I'm a speaker, trainer, coach for the John Maxwell team. Also, I am a published author, like so many of you are. However, the book, Conducting My Life, it's pretty good. It's stories about a high school music teacher, which I have been since 1989. And on April 8th, or around there, of 2021, I was told to keep Jesus Christ in the parking lot, and I chose to go out to the parking lot with Jesus Christ because he's my Lord and Savior. So it's a brief introduction. If you want to know more, look at my bio, check it out. I'm doing this on the 17th of April, day before our son's 31st birthday, and I put it out there on the 23rd. I'm going to my blog and doing kind of a summary of articles, I would say, that I think would be good for you to read. By the way, when you read my articles, I apologize to all the English teachers out there. The syntax, that's a big jargon word there, syntax, is not the best. But anyway, the title of today's blog is For Every Question There Is the Same Answer. And that is going to be, you'll see the answer at the end here, or close to the end. I posted this originally on the 6th of July, 2024, and we'll see how it goes. As I said, I'm going to summarize it, so it's going to be a little bit of a verbal processing time. Attempt to make these between 10 and 15 minutes, and I hope that you listen to the entire post and that you will share it. Please share. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, subscribe, and keep the negative people off the... or at least balance them. I mean, I can't make everybody happy. My students would tell you that. My scholars would too. And maybe my scholars are listening to this. But here we go. Question. Have you ever read the book of Job? If you haven't, here's a summary. One summary. Job is presented as such a good man that God boasts about Job in a conversation with Satan. Satan is then given permission to test how faithful Job would be if Job had to endure loss, grief, and pain. Job's friends come to bring comfort to him, but fail miserably. After an extended series of dialogues between Job and 4 friends, God speaks and Job's good fortunes return. Questions about why good people like Job suffer are left unanswered. But Job's relationship with God is renewed. And those who practice the Christian faith, you just had Easter this past Sunday, and I hope it went well for you. As I said, I'm doing this on the 17th of April, so it'd be Monday, Thursday. So quickly, how I became a Christian. Well, 1984-ish, 85, I was a freshman at the University of the Pacific Conservatory of Music, studying to be a music teacher. There was a friend of mine named Jennifer, and she went to Pacific Grove High School. I went to the dreaded Carmel High School. It's not dreaded at all. It's just that Carmel and PG are rivals. And Jennifer, super duper quiet lady, introverted, all of a sudden started doing things, giving music away, giving maybe cassette tapes back then. Anyway, and her clothes away, and we were asking, and then all of a sudden pink hearts are coming out of her room, going down the dorm, and one of her friends said, "Paul, man, you know Jennifer. Why don't you go talk to Jennifer? This is weird, man. All of a sudden we got pink hearts with these Bible quotes. Hey, Jennifer, what's going on?" "Well, I'm part of this new group called Chi Alpha. It's a Christian group, Paul." I said, "Yeah, but well, son, you're acting weird. You're giving clothes away. You're putting hearts on your wall and down the dorm hallway. What's going on?" "Well, I want to let everyone know about the love of Jesus." "Yeah, but this is strange." "No, don't say it's strange. You know Jesus?" "I do know Jesus." "Well, then why don't you go to one of the Chi Alpha meetings? How can you judge?" So I did. Myself and 2 of her friends, we went to this Chi Alpha meeting, and it was a roaring meeting. I mean, it was loud music. Remember, it's 1984, 85-ish. Reagan's starting his second term. We got Christianity running wild across the United States. And, it's just packed. This is a science forum and classroom, and oh my gosh, people are going nuts and yelling and screaming, and all of a sudden this person has a seizure, and looks like an epileptic seizure, but no, it's Satan is taking over their body, laying hands on this person who looks again like they're having an epileptic seizure, but no, it's Satan. And I went, okay, fine, it's Satan. So the two parents that went with me said, Paul, we're getting out of here. This is strange. I said, we told Jennifer we'd stay to the end. So I stayed till the end, and I had that cool down jacket you used to have back in the 80s that makes you look like the Michelin Man. And so I looked like a big, fat Tweety bird because it was yellow. And a couple of football players come up because Donnie was the chaplain of the football team. And he was the one just leading this amazing, loud experience. Hey, Donnie wants to have you come down. He wants to pray for you. And I said, no, tell Donnie I'm fine. They come back, seriously, he wants to pray for you. Come on down. It's no big deal. So I go down there, and Donnie's all, hey, do you want to accept Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior tonight? I said, I already have, and I'm good. Do you want me to pray for you? No, I'm good. What's your name? Paul. Paul. Are you sure I can't lay my hands on you and pray for the Lord Jesus? I said, I'm good. So he let me go. That was about it. It was okay. I would see Donnie occasionally the next 3 years. And he remembered my name. Very, very talented for that. I mean, so then I became Catholic. I said, oh my gosh. So I went to the Newman House and baptized as a Catholic. And I probably need another baptism, frankly, and get a renewal. But I am a Christian. Jesus Christ died on the cross for me, rose again in fulfillment of the scriptures on the third day. I love Jesus. I love him so much. So now it's time to truly test Jesus would be the next part of this article. Again, on or around April 8th, 2021, the principal of the school I was teaching at said, hey, Paul, you and I are Christians, right? Well, I got to tell you this. You got to leave Jesus Christ in the parking lot, man. And I went, what are you saying, Rob? Did you tell all the gay teachers and all the people that like the gay teachers? I love gay teachers, by the way. But anyway, did you tell them to take down their pride flag? That's different, Paul. Separation of church and state. It's not different. That's their church. That's their belief. They believe in the gay way. Did you tell all the BLM? Remember, BLM was hot back in 2021. It was hot. Did you tell all the BLM teachers to take down No, it's not the same, Paul. Yes, it is. It's who they are. It's what they represent. It's their religion. No, come on, Paul. Just, again, leave Jesus Christ in the parking lot. I said, okay. October 6, 2021, he now is the Department of Human Resources, whatever. Now, we have 5 complaints against you, Paul. Here are the 5. Yada, 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 yada. By the way, the principal, who was new, never been a high school principal. She is in there. The female vice principal is in there. The female union rep is in there named Nicole, and Rob and me. And I've known Rob since like 2005. So we've known each other for some time. He goes, do you have anything to say after, you hear this? I said, yeah, I'll talk about 2 of them. And then he leaned back in his chair and he went, go for it. Go for it means Paul's going to hang himself, which I did. I hanged myself. You said I can't say I love you to students anymore. That's true. You can't. That's weird. I said, okay, let me give you the context. This girl was failing band. She failed all 4 of her classes, Rob. And I said to her, I'm moving you away from Mike and Mark, not because I'm mean, not because I hate you, but because I love you. I'm concerned about you. Yeah, but you said it, Paul. You told that student, I love you. I did in that context, Rob. And then he goes, you're weird. That's weird. That's weird. You got gray hair. You're an old man. You tell this young kid that you love him. You need to knock that off. Union said nothing. Okay, now the next part. You said I gotta stop using social media? Yeah, Paul. You're hurt. What you post hurts kids, families. It's an embarrassment to you, your principal, the school district, and the school. Stop it. I don't care about your First Amendment rights. I'm protecting you from you. Union said nothing. Okay, so then comes October 15th. That's a Friday, 2021. And then I get to meet with the assistant superintendent, and he said, we have to put you on a 45-day probationary period, Paul. You have 9 directives, and he reads the 9 directives. And if you don't follow them, that's insubordination, and we'll look for termination. Do you have any questions, comments, concerns, Paul? And I said, well, yeah, I do. Hey, Union, are you taking notes? Because up to that point, and I'm glad you're still listening, it's going to be a longer, we get to probably 15, 17 minutes today, but it's kind of fascinating. Yeah, Union, are you taking notes? And she said, I'm taking notes, Paul. I said, okay. So I look at Brad, and I said, Brad, I love God. Did you write that down? Union said, yeah, I wrote that down. I said, great. I love my wife, Diana, very much. Did you write that down? I did. Then I said to Brad, I'm going to resign, retire. No, you can't do that, Paul. Yes, I can, Brad. Brad, your system is broken, man. You put on this 9 directives, things that I can't do, frankly, that are against what I believe. I believe in Jesus Christ, Brad. Brad, you are holding me accountable for something I denied, something that was not proved. And so that was in July. So from July to August, or July to October, Brad, do you realize how many people I could have hurt? And you kept me here? Your system is broken. And he's quiet for like 2 seconds. He goes, okay, I got it. So that meeting ends. That night's homecoming game. That next day, that band wins 3rd place at a competition, their first ever parade. They'd never done parades before. They got 3rd place. And I was like, okay, cool. And then I finally told those students on November the 1st that I'm done. On December 20th, December 23rd, 2021 was my last day teaching public schools in California. I collect my retirement now, and I thank God that I am at a charter school that lets me say Jesus Christ. No one told me so far, this charter school, sir, you need to keep Jesus Christ in the parking lot. No one. So I'm grateful for that. Then what happens is now the next part of the article talks about friends, question mark. I thought I had friends. I still do have friends. But boy, man, I think I have leprosy now. No one calls me. Now, when I say no one, let me just say I had plethora of friends, man. When you're teaching 30 years as a music teacher in California, you have 30 years of friendship. No. And I realized that, and that was my fault. I thought they were friends, but yet, no one had beer with me. No one had dinner with me. They weren't, I had a handful of them, so I don't want to say. But what I'll tell you, though, is when you stick your neck out for Jesus Christ, it gets lonely, okay? It gets lonely, and they're not asking me to clinic their band. They're not asking me to do leadership training for them anymore. I do appreciate Dean and Chris for giving me the opportunity to continue to teach young adults music, and so now it leads me to I Feel Like Job, which we opened the program with, and again, it's going to go probably about 15 to about 20 minutes, but hang in there. I hope that you think this is exciting so far. Woo! Now, being a conservative teacher in California, yikes. So it's important to understand where I am going with the current stage of my life. Again, I'm 59 years old. So at the time I wrote this, I was doing 2 Bible studies. One was in Our Daily Bread, great Bible study, and the other one was Stand on the Word by Tony Perkins. And they both, when I did this article back in July a year ago, they both were on the book of Job at the same time. And I thought that was a stunning message from God. 2 different studies focusing on the same book at the same time. All right? And I thought, this is something that's important here. So therefore, let me just give you some ideas. Answers, helpful or hurtful. Answers are either going to be helpful or they're going to be hurtful. Job's friends come to Job with the intention of bringing comfort. In their effort to accomplish this, they think back to what they have been taught and try various ways to interpret the meaning of Job's suffering. The main answers they bring are that Job deserves his suffering, that all humans are sinners, so even good people are not immune from suffering, and that God may use suffering to teach us something. All these are common answers, even in our day, to question about suffering and may be helpful to some people, but they can be hurtful rather than helpful to others. So this is me saying now, I do think there are people on the sideline attempting to figure me out. I am sure there are those friends who believe like Job's friends, Paul deserves his suffering. But they leave out the next part, that all humans are sinners, so even good people are not immune from suffering, and that God may use suffering to teach us something. This is me talking, they leave at that next part. They leave out that next part. They are not on the same path to becoming a better Christian. Next part is educational value of suffering. Readings say, perhaps suffering is intended to teach the sufferer to bring one back to a proper sense of priorities, to provide warning that to continue such behavior may lead to even worse calamities. This is one common understanding of suffering in both Old and New Testaments. It gives a more positive view than to regard suffering as only as a punishment. In the book of Job, chapter 5, verses 17 through 27, Eliphaz, and chapter 36, verses 8 through 12, Elihu tried to apply this answer to Job. Now, this is me talking. Thanks to this part of the story, I understand the suffering I am going through is part of the experience leading me closer to God. God is the one who is going to lead me through the suffering. God will also place people in my life and take people out of my life he feels will help create his teaching. Two more. Sinful nature of all humans. Thank you for still listening, by the way. Job is a tough problem for those who think of suffering as retribution for one's sins. Job is, obviously, a good man, and there are many worse sinners around. Eliphaz, in particular, solves this problem by declaring his low estimation of all humans. Chapters 4, verses 17-19, chapter 15, 14 through 16. Since all are sinners, no one can claim to be innocent and immune from suffering as a consequence of sinful behavior. This idea does not explain why some suffer and others do not. My response: I continue to do what I can to teach my friends all of us have sins, and therefore we are all sinners. If your actions, lifestyles are considered to be biblical sins, I can still be your friend. I can still love you. I can still care for you. All I would ask in return, do not force me to say what you are doing is not a sin. And now the next part, speaking the truth. This is the last part. Job urges his friends to speak the truth about God and human sin. Job is convinced that they are so desperate to defend God's good name that they are willing to tell us lies about Job. Chapter 13, verses 1 through 12. Thus making what looks like an injustice against Job into an example of God's justice. Pious words about God that gloss over the reality of earth's turmoil and pain are not helpful to the sufferer. Suppression of lament is all too common among religious folk. In my response, this is powerful. Quote, suppression of lament is all too common among religious folk. End of quote. That is it. I lament over the way my career ended, possibly took a hard change. And frankly, the change of public education that I did not see until I was told, you don't have the same rights other teachers have. So here's the bottom line. I am on a crusade to convince people every answer to a question can include one word, God. Before you take that pill shot, do what the counselor tells you to do. Hang on to a job that goes against your morals. I need you to seek and give God a chance. Give God a chance. My hope and yes, prayer is when you read and you listen to this article, you will say, God has the answers. And he really does. I hope this helps somebody. I hope, including my students and current scholars, study the book of Job. Understand. You can do it, everybody. Get through you got to suffer to be a Christian. Begin with the end in mind. Every choice you make is who you are, so choose wisely. Seek first to understand, then be understood. And finally, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. I care about you. That's why I take risks in doing this. And if I've made you hurt, not my goal. My goal is to love you and to help you. Stranger, friend, or foe. Okay, God bless. Till next time.